Good morning,
Good morning.
and welcome to That Auto Show.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good.
Good.
And we are back again.
Yep.
So we're Scott and Dave, and we're at That Auto Shop. We're located in Frederick, Maryland.
Uh-huh.
We're by the Frederick City Airport, and our phone number is 301-660-6729. And we are on Facebook at That Auto Shop, and we're on Twitter at That Auto Shop, and our email is thatautoshop@gmail.com, so you can reach us all kinds of different ways. And we're going to just pick back up on, I think, part 4 of the Volkswagen scandal.
Yeah, so yesterday we got to some car questions, to help our viewers out on that kind of stuff.
Right.
But today we're going to go back to news and just pick up on the VW scandal, which we had covered a few weeks ago, but we haven't hit in a while. So I wanted things to develop and get interesting again, and they definitely have.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a couple of new tidbits of information that were released recently.
Yeah.
And we're gonna touch on those. First was, and this has kind of been out a little bit on the fringes, but it hasn't really been detailed or as public.
Uh-huh.
And that is that there has been a tremendous amount of pressure within Volkswagen to perform or to meet these emission standards. And we have official confessions, it looks like, from engineers stating that they cheated on it.
Yeah.
And they cheated because they were given unattainable emission standards, and they felt that they couldn't bring those. They could not meet the emission standards for whatever reason. They had to do it some way, even if it meant cheating. So
well,
that's what they're stating. I'm not agreeing with them.
So the beginning of the story, is with Winterkorn, the CEO, and he goes and makes a statement that the cars in 2014 would be so and so, have so and so less emissions than the cars in 2006, and he made this big broad statement for the I think it was the diesel cars, and said that they're going to run this new Volkswagen clean diesel, and diesel ain't what it used to be. This ain't your daddy's diesel, kind of thing. And then so the story goes, he threw it to the engineers, and then the engineers just kind of couldn't do it, and so they just lied about it. But and I wanted to get into that a little too. It seems like now that Winterkorn's gone, because he did, resign. And in my eyes, it would be really easy to just be like, oh, it was that guy that made us do it. Like, the devil made me do it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now that he's gone, like, we're all right now, and we won't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's the impression.
So you're getting the impression that it's just a scapegoat effort, basically. We're throwing it on this guy. He's gone. It's all good. Look the other way, right?
Yeah.
We've solved the problem. Winterkorn is gone. The big bad wolf who infected this company.
Yeah, he was the problem with all the numbers.
Yeah.
And either way may be true. I'm not saying either way is the truth or anything like that, but as an engineer and as a professional in general, you have a responsibility. And that responsibility is to do your job, whatever that job is, as accurately as you can, as honestly as you can. And they did not do that job. And they let that part of their profession down, fully when they did that. Because they didn't follow the rules, man.
So, in your opinion, it doesn't matter how much pressure you get from your boss, you still have to be ethical?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. That's what I mean, you can quit at any time.
But it's hard to get another job, dude. You saying I can't lie?
That's correct. I mean, in my opinion, dude, you should not lie to keep a job,
right.
And lie to millions of consumers.
Yeah.
And that's who, suffered here. Not only the consumers, but The environment in general, you know, we've been pumping out, it's 40 times the amount of emissions that was stated.
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't heard that number. I don't know why before I read this article, but that's a huge amount.
Yeah.
That's massive.
It is massive.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to touch on the fact that, you know, the worst group of people to piss off are probably environmentalists, I would guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a hardcore group of passionate people who believe that the environment is at risk and that our lifespan on Earth could be diminished by these, you know, by emissions, right?
Yeah.
So you got a group of passionate, devoted people to the environment who bought these cars under the impression that they were clean and efficient.
And they probably bought them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they bought them.
Yeah.
They literally bought these cars thinking that. And now you've pissed off that group of people. To me, it just dawned on me that that's like one of the last groups you would ever want to piss off is like an activist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like the last group of people you want to mess with. But there's no excuse for all of it. But also, you talked about every corporation has tremendous amounts of pressure, right? Mm. You look at and Apple is a good example, and it's on my mind because I recently saw the Steve Jobs movie, and he put tremendous amounts of pressure on these engineers.
Yeah, he did,
and humiliated them if they didn't, you know, do their job correctly. Yeah. You know. But still, you don't see that kind of like behavior at Apple, you know, where it gets, you know, complete BS in the product, and they lie about what it can do, and that kind of thing. So I mean, you might see it here and there in small amounts, but not like this wide scale, massive environmental impact, and just across the whole board, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a weak excuse, but it does make you still wonder, I guess, you know, it must really be that bad. I mean, is it really that bad? Is it, I guess it's just a rhetorical question. You know, could you ever be in a company where there's so much pressure that it's, you know, that you feel like even as an ethical person that you have to lie, you have to cheat? Is that a conceivable? Is that a justifiable?
I think
thing?
there's a lot of corporations out there, and I think there are a lot of people that accept, you know, that, and then there are a lot of people that won't accept it, you know, and they do whatever they need to do to stay above, you know, and do their job correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's a lot of professions out there.
Yeah.
And engineer is not the only one. And if you think about those other professions that still have pressure on them, you know, stepping over that ethical line, like what happens to this society we live in as a whole?
Right.
You know, if everyone acted like VW did,
yeah,
you know, it wouldn't be a very nice place to live.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely wouldn't be you know, in this spot that we're in. You know, we owe the spot that we're in as a society in a whole to staying ethical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the next part. So what Volkswagen has proposed they're going to do about it.
Yeah.
For the U.S. customers only.
Yeah.
Is offer them $1,000 credit. Or
$1,000.
They're going to give it's air quoted. Yeah. Because it's not really $1,000, and I hate when companies do this. They say they're going to give you something, but then the fine details show a different story. So the actual details are they're going to give them a $500 prepaid credit card. So that's equivalent of cash, which is good. But the other $500 is actually just a credit towards buying a new car at Volkswagen. So it's not really. I mean, you're benefiting Volkswagen. You know, that's not really. I mean, $500 off a $30,000 car ain't jack squat, really.
Yeah.
No, so so they are giving $500,000 cash though to about 500,000 U.S. customers, which amounts to $250 million.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money. You know, but it's not the $1,000 they claim they're giving away. You know, because they're not gonna. You know, are you gonna go buy a Volkswagen after this? Really?
Would I?
Yeah.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, or if you bought a Volkswagen today, and you bought it for this express reason that it was efficient and clean, and it was diesel and it was new technology, would you turn around and go buy another Volkswagen?
No.
Me neither.
No, I would not.
Heck no.
And even in my, where, you know, it, as a consumer, I'm not as worried, you know, about the environment. And I still wouldn't. I still would not buy one.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're the best car in the world. You know, I don't know. I maybe I would feel differently later if it was the best car in the world, but right now, as it stands, I just have a real bad taste from it, and I don't think I would buy one. I think I would choose another type of car.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And so, you know, that's my point is that they give these $500 credit to buy a new car, but you know, that's just a slap in the face, you know?
It is. I mean, I thought, I just kind of laughed to myself when I saw the headline of the article.
Yeah.
Is, you know, do you think at all, like, that this would make anything better? Or, I mean, in my opinion, man, if I had bought a Volkswagen and I was in this, you know, situation and you know, the environment was a big concern of mine, and then, you know, I found all this out and then they tried to give me $1,000, I would be more pissed than if they just hadn't given me the money, because that's money that they could spend on other things, you know, like I don't know, improving the.
I think you're more
diesel technology,
moral upright than I am. I would just take the money and
you would just take the money.
I mean, I think it pacifies most people. You know, it would pacify me probably because
I get pissed when you know, of the idea of being pacified.
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that pisses me off.
It's wrong, but would I take it? Probably. But you're right. I mean, here I am, you know, pardon my French, but I'm bitching about it.
Yeah.
And I probably would take the payoff.
Yeah.
You know, but maybe it's not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
What's the right thing to do? If you were in that situation today, what would you do? Or what should you do?
If they were gonna give me $1,000.
Yeah. I mean, what can you do as one individual consumer to make an impact that would be worth more than just taking $1,000? You're bleeding the company a little bit dry as a penalty, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah. I would use my $500 cash to make a bunch of billboards. Anti-Volkswagen billboards.
Dude, for $500 you could run it for like one day in like Kansas.
No, like picket signs. You
Yeah,
know, we
there
could
you
become
go.
activists.
Yeah.
Not environmental, but just anti-Volkswagen. You know.
You could buy a lot of picket signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I'm with you there.
You caught me, man. I don't know what I would do. I can't tell you which way I would go. I know I would feel bad about taking that $500.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't know. The car drives just the same.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't affected in any other way except for, you know,
well,
now
you were
I am lying
to
all the birds and the bees and the trees and, you know, I'm just like, I'm killing you, like while I'm driving by, you know.
Well, let's move to the next point, which was they spent it's now being revealed that other vehicles besides diesels were affected. So now we're getting into the regular unleaded gasoline vehicles were also affected. And why not? I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. If they're going to cheat on one, why not cheat on them all?
Yeah.
If you found a way to bypass the system, dude, you got emission standards on unleaded too. I'm sure you could cut a lot of corners, save a lot of money by cheating on that as well. So to me, it's just, I mean, it's not surprising, but it is still more damning.
Yeah.
Even though it's not very surprising, it's still terrible.
It is still terrible. And I didn't realize until a little while ago, but there was 2 separate cheats that were going on. It wasn't one.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just the computer program added in there to, you know, fool the emissions system, but it was actually on the diesels, at least. It was, setting the car up for its tests, adding oil to the diesel to make
it burned less fuel.
Yeah, it burned less fuel and had less, emissions and things like that. So that was two different times that there was, cheating and dishonesty going on. That just leads me to believe now that this is uncovered that we're not even at the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At all.
And you gotta wonder, it just comes to my mind that, dude, it's gotta be deep, man. It's gotta be part of the culture, I think. When it's, you're talking about a pretty elaborate system. You're talking about the engine and the emission system. I mean, you have how many engineers and how many people, supervisor levels up and executive levels, that fully were aware of this.
Dude, everybody's in on it.
You gotta figure that they're all in on it, dude. And so how do you fix that? Fundamentally, how do you go in and fix a culture that has completely accepted this mentality completely?
You mean the like?
Yeah, like, hey, this is good to go. Yeah, the wink.
It's good.
It's just
diesel.
There's no answer. I mean, I don't have an answer, but I just think, what a large problem this is.
Yeah.
It's just a massive. It's beyond just the effect that it had on the output. But now you've got a company that has to move forward and produce vehicles that work correctly.
The largest automotive company in the world.
Yeah. They were number one in sales until the scandal hit,
Yeah.
So, now they have to reboot their entire company culture and change things, especially, and emission standards are not getting weaker. So doesn't that put them even farther behind? Because emission standards are getting even more stringent down the road, and now they've got to catch up because they've already been cheating for how many years? So they've already figured, well, we don't need to really, do this engineering properly to make these cars efficient because we're just cheating them.
Yeah.
So now they've got to go back to the drawing board from square one, from emission standards back when they first started this cheating behavior, and then catch up all the way to what the standards are now and what they're going to be in the future.
Yeah.
And so they have a lot of catch up to do in getting it right. So if you're like an emissions wizard or like a chemist, you're going to be needed at Volkswagen, because you're gonna be getting rid of some people, and you guarantee they're gonna be hiring consultants and engineering firms and third parties to help get in there and get this stuff fixed up right.
Yeah, and we bash a lot of other companies.
Yeah,
a lot of other car manufacturers on a pretty daily basis.
That's what we do.
We're pretty brutal on a few of them.
Yeah.
Okay, but I would like to point out right now, and this is on record, that they are actually hitting the targets and passing the tests.
Oh, the other cars that we make fun of, they actually pass the emissions test.
Yes, they actually have done it and gone, as far as to meet the minimum standard.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So as bad as they are, they're still not as bad as Volkswagen.
Yeah, I guess
that's
so,
right,
man.
So did we talk about their future plans to abandon the technology?
We have not talked about that yet, but that's definitely on the table. And I think that's really terrible. I think that part is terrible too, because think about how many commercial vehicles are out there today that are all run on diesel and that all use, I don't want to call it clean diesel, but they're using brand new diesel technology to lower the emissions and make these things into viable options in the future. All right, and then you had Volkswagen that was supposed to go in that direction, to do it with the passenger car, and utilize that technology. And the whole thing is botched. I don't think anyone's going to be able to trust, this whole clean diesel, kind of idea anymore. And it's really sad because it's obviously a possibility.
Yeah. So you think that they have a moral obligation to continue the technology, to not throw in the towel, but to say, hey, we've started on this technology and we should continue with it. and we should try to figure out how to make this really what we claimed it to be.
Yeah.
As opposed, you actually think that they actually are morally obligated to do that.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're morally obligated, but I would think that it would be the best outcome for both them and the consumers in general and the environment. You know, if they were to keep going with that technology, because you never know. You know, they had a commercial last year that, you know, the lady, she bends down, or she's near the tailpipe of the car, and all the other old ladies are like, "Watch out, Doris, you're gonna get your skirt all messy." You know, she's like, "Oh no, it's a VW clean diesel," you know, and she puts her white sweater in front of the tailpipe, and there's nothing on it.
Yeah.
You know, and that, you know, they have come very far.
Yeah.
You know, it hasn't been far enough,
right?
But they have come very far.
Well, this is their redemption opportunity too. I mean, I think if they just abandon it and say, "Okay, screw it, we can't do it," then I think it's going to be harder for them to earn the trust back. Imagine if they actually did leap the hurdle of making these things what they claimed them to be, and they did it, and they came forward, and they had third-party verification, and you know, universities and colleges, you know, vet out that they truly are clean, and they have this verifiable evidence. Then they would be like, "Okay, we redeemed ourselves." Don't you think that would be a better public image for them?
I think that would be an almost 100% full redemption.
That would be better than just saying, "Oh, throw our hands up in the air. We're just going to make gas cars."
Yeah.
You know, then it would kind of be like, "Well, you guys just swept it on the rug. You didn't try. You didn't try to earn our trust back."
And that brings up a good topic. They have not tackled. They have one electric car, but they have not tackled that, you know, side of the industry yet.
Yeah.
You know, so, but I think, you know, a lot of this stuff can actually bleed in negatively into, you know, whatever line they go into next, man.
Yeah.
You know, if they were to totally abandon the TDI, the turbo diesel, and they were to go into the electric vehicle, the EV, I think that they would have a lot of negativity towards those cars and a lot of prejudgment towards them, because they didn't clean up the diesel side of things. And I know that sounds weird, but I foresee like almost 100% redemption in the eyes of the consumer if they were to crack down to get it right and to put out these clean diesels. I think that's probably the best option.
It's the best option in all ways, I think. I mean, they've already got a start on it, and they've already made a marketing message that leads us to believe that way. And just keep at it and try to get it right. I think that would be the best strategy for Volkswagen. If you're listening, CEO of Volkswagen, that's what you need to do.
Get your car in junior.
Take your board aside. You know, go to the board meeting and launch your strategy as we're going to make this thing happen.
Yeah.
We're going to make a legitimately clean diesel and relaunch with a clever marketing campaign with a kind of a tongue-in-cheek. You know, we screwed up before, but we really did it now. And you can, you know, buy some Super Bowl ads in 2 years.
Yeah.
And relaunch as the legitimate clean diesel, and you can joke about it in 2 years.
And even use all those chassis and the engines and a lot of it.
I mean, there's got to be tons of infrastructure that can be reused towards the same thing. So I say don't abandon it yet. Redeem yourself,
less energy,
and come back in 2 years with a new strategy, with a clever marketing campaign, and then in 5 years from now, you're back on top. You're back up there with Toyota. Yeah. So that's what you do. All right.
Yeah.
I just saved you hundreds of millions of dollars,
you don't
if
have
not
to
billions of dollars.
Yeah.
By giving you that advice. So.
All right.
So I think we beat that horse dead.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was a good one. Because
I really have fun with it, and I'd like to touch on it in a few weeks again. Yeah. Just give a report of how it's going. And
they're on our radar all the time now. Yeah. It's all so we're watching out for you Volkswagen consumers. Yeah. But I guess that's it for today, and thanks for watching and for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.